Here are the 10 most important mistakes you need to avoid throughout your skateboarding journey. I'm here to save you some time by taking the most common mistakes that I see people making and giving you a shortcut so you can progress faster. Make sure you like and subscribe so you don't miss a single video from us. Okay, let's do it. The first mistake you want to avoid is thinking about ollieing up things the wrong way. A lot of times I see skaters trying to push their board towards the manual pad they want to ollie up onto, like so. They shift the tail, they push the back trucks towards the thing, and this just makes it harder to pick up your back trucks. And listen, I get it. You want to move your board forward because that feels like you're really forcing it up on top of the thing. And you feel like that's gonna make you less likely to hang up. But in reality, it's just making your life harder. To pick the back trucks up into the air, we gotta pull the board underneath us a little bit. That helps the tail get up high enough so we can actually clear the object. We're gonna ollie just like we would on flat ground, but you're gonna have enough forward speed so you clear the object naturally. If I set up for an ollie stationary, when I pop, my back wheels are gonna move backwards ever so slightly. When I'm moving forward, the same thing happens, you just can't see it because everything is moving forward. If I shift my back wheels forward through the pop, I can't get the back trucks into the air. It's not a skill issue, it's a strategy issue. So if your ollies look like this, that's why you can't get onto things. The second mistake you need to avoid is rotating your body instead of turning when you carve. Let me show you what I mean. A lot of times I see people going towards corners, starting to rotate their body, thinking that's gonna help them turn. That's just not the case. Turning is done by leaning side to side, not by spinning your body to look around the corner. So you can stay square on your skateboard and just lean front side and turn sharper than you ever were by rotating your body to try to get it to turn. The third mistake you need to avoid is not jumping when you're doing tricks, whether it's going up a bank or off of a manual pad, or you're just working on your ollies, kickflips, or reverts. Every single trick is initiated by some type of jump. To do anything well on a skateboard, you have to learn how to jump and float over your board during your tricks. Every single trick is initiated by leaving the ground. Even if you just want your wheels to slide, you have to de-weight and make your feet really light on the ground. And you do that by doing a small jump and floating. If you want your ollies to float in the air, that's not gonna happen by pushing down into the ground. That's gonna happen by jumping up into the air and then learning how to bring your board with you. Same thing happens when you wanna go off of a manual pad or up a bank. You have to jump off the edge of it like you want to get air. The fourth mistake you need to avoid when you're skating is being stuck on the board and not being able to move your feet around. Being able to adjust your foot position is arguably the #1 skill you need to set up for any trick effectively. Whether you're just carving around the deep end or you're trying to set up for ollies or kickflips, your foot position is going to determine your ability to turn and balance over your board. So, not only do you need to know what a good foot position is, you need to be able to shuffle your feet around at will as you're getting in and out of tricks. When you're setting up, just keep this in mind. When you put your front foot on, have it around the front bolts. I don't care if you want to cover all four or leave them exposed, but anything in this area is fine. Put your toes right on the edge of the rail, right here. If you can grab your shoe off the toe side of the rail, it's off the board too much. And then place your back foot on the tail with space between your toe and the edge of the rail, and space between the back of your foot and the back of the tail. You should be able to see grip tape all the way around your foot. If you start on the board with that foot position and you're able to move your feet around at will, you're in a good spot to start progressing. The fifth mistake you need to avoid is working on tricks that are too hard for you. A lot of times you can just set a goal that you want to accomplish. Start with something easier and then work your way up to that goal over a few days or a few weeks. My goal is to ollie this stair set, but I don't want to just start trying it and hope for the best, because I'm probably not going to learn very much. We're going to start with something smaller that has less of a gap so we can get a few ollies down. What I want you to focus on is ollieing as high as you would on flat ground, but then taking it off of the ledge. The most common mistake I see people making is doing small ollies because they're trying to ollie down off of something. We need to treat it like it's a regular flat ground ollie while moving. Maybe imagine you have a skateboard that is primo on the edge of the ledge and you ollie over this onto the ground. Once that feels comfortable, you can move to something a little bit bigger. In a perfect world, we could find something that's exactly the height as the stair set we want to do to just practice the landing. For this stage, focus on absorbing the landing and being strong. Everybody underestimates how strong you have to be to stay on the board after doing a drop. The landing doesn't just happen in an instant. You're gonna feel the ground, let your legs bend and absorb the landing for 2 to 5 seconds, but also remain strong enough to stand up after it. Landing on your skateboard is an active motion. It's not a passive one, meaning the landing isn't gonna happen to you. You're not just watching your feet hit and wondering if you're gonna roll away. It's a very active motion. You have to be the one to stay on your feet and then stand tall. The skill that everyone overlooks is just how fast you're gonna be going when you ollie a stair set. So make sure you can do ollies at full speed before you go take it down a 4 or 5 stair. Now that we took a couple weeks to learn the skills that we need, we can do the stair set. I used the stair set as an example, but this applies to any trick. Make sure you're working your way up towards your goals and not taking unnecessary risks. The sixth mistake you need to avoid is thinking you're not good enough to practice switch. And I'm not talking about switch kick flips or dropping in on the biggest ramp in the skate park. I'm talking about getting the basics down so you can skate in the opposite stance comfortably. When you skate switch, you should focus on the simple things, like being able to adjust your foot position, pushing, being able to navigate the skate park, just like you would your strong stance. And most importantly, knowing where your feet are. Look down, place your back foot in a good position, place your front foot in a good position, and just skate around like that for 15 or 20 minutes. One of the best pieces of advice that I got was just warm up switch. Push and turn and carve and work on lifting the nose in the air until you're ready to start your session. That'll be more than enough practice to get you going with your other foot leading the way. The seventh mistake you need to avoid is not wearing pads. If you're doing tricks that are hard or require a lot of speed, just pad up. It's fine. Especially on transition, pads will help a lot more than you think. Whether it's just mental and feeling more secure when you're trying tricks that are just at the top of your skill level, or trying to learn something completely new, you can bail safely and easily over and over and over again without messing up your ankles or having to run out of everything. You saw me try that frontside air and bail, but since I have good pads that fit me, I was able to bail safely and try it again. The 8th mistake you need to avoid is pushing on the board while you're in the air. Once you push on the board, you're never gonna get it back. So if I'm in the air and my legs are extending at all while I'm on the way up, that board will run away from you and never come back. At best, it's gonna look like this. And it's gonna feel terrible. When you're taking off, whether it's a fly out or up and out of a bank, you want to pick your feet up into the air and let the board chase you up. After you pick your feet up, your board comes up and you're in the air nice and compact, then gravity does its job and starts to bring everything back towards the ground. That's when you can start extending your legs again. But that is simply to land on the ground with a strong leg position so you can stand up from there. It is not to push the board towards the ground because I don't believe that it's gonna follow me into the air. It is so much harder to do flyouts like that. It would blow your mind. One of the benefits of picking the board up when you're doing flyouts, after you pick it up, you can make all the adjustments you want to make. You get the nose low and bone it out or rotate it a couple of degrees left and right. You have a lot of room to maneuver the board and make adjustments after you pick your feet up as high as they can go. You are getting your feet out of the way of the board so it can go up into the air. If you start pushing at it, now that board has nowhere to go and it will just bounce off the bottom of your feet and run away from you. The 9th mistake you need to avoid is hanging up on rocks. This one plagues beginners from all over the world. It doesn't matter how big the ramp is or how scary the rock to fakie is. It seems like every new skater is keen on feeling their front trucks hit the coping before you come back in. Not only is this just a bad habit, it's dangerous and it will make rock to fakies harder. To do the proper technique, you want to reach your front trucks further over the coping so you're closer to your back trucks when you're in the rock. Then you're gonna keep your weight over your tail and pick up your front leg into your front shoulder as high as you can. This is scarier than it is difficult, meaning once you commit to it once or twice, you'll start to build that habit and your confidence will grow. If you find yourself sliding into your front trucks before you come back in, just means too much weight is over your front foot and you just need to sit on your back foot when you're in the rock and let it happen a little quicker. If you're an intermediate skater, this might be happening to you on disasters. The same rules apply. Just keep your weight over the foot that's in the ramp and pick up your back foot high enough to clear the coping. The 10th mistake you need to avoid is being too focused on sliding your front foot when you ollie. The front foot path during an ollie is one of the most fundamentally misunderstood things in skateboarding. And it goes like this. Put your tail on the ground and then take your front foot and put the side of your shoe on your board. You notice that I moved my foot backwards a little bit because it makes it easier to roll the foot over. If my foot is really high up, that becomes more difficult and I have to get super stretched out with my legs. It's just a little bit uncomfortable. Lay the side of your shoe on the board, and then from there, pick your front foot straight up and then flatten it out. That is the motion your front foot will take. When you say, but Mitchie, look at your shoe. It's all messed up. I know you're sliding your foot. Yes, you do, but it goes like this. So if I set my feet up as if they were on the skateboard, then pop the tail, the nose is gonna come backwards like this. I can bring my front foot back to catch the nose and then lift my foot up in the air and then flatten it out. The slide happens vertically, not horizontally. So that means you don't just want to spread your feet out to try to pick the board up in the air. And you don't want to be super obsessed with this feeling like you're dragging your foot to lift the board in the air. You can't pick the board up from on top of the skateboard. That doesn't make any sense. You got to let the board bounce up into the air and you keep your foot essentially out of the way and you just help it flatten out. So if you follow that footpath with your ollies, you'll be in good shape. The inevitable comment under this video that says, but Mitchie, you slide your front foot, I saw you do it. Yes, but if you pause the video and go frame by frame, you will see the front foot tracking up and backwards, then go over the top, and then sit right back where it started. You can't tell that happens when you're moving. It just looks like your foot is sliding forward the whole time. So this next ollie right here, pause the video and go frame by frame and track the front foot. And you'll notice it comes up and in, then over and back down. So whatever it looks like in terms of sliding, it's probably just an optical illusion and your foot is sliding vertically up the board. Now that you know exactly what not to do, make sure you're going to the skate park, putting in hard work every single day, trying to progress. Skateboarding is difficult. It's supposed to be hard. That's what makes it fun. Take your time with your progression and just keep showing up every day. Thank you for supporting this channel. Make sure you click that like button and a video on the side to watch the next thing from us.